A few days ago, I told you I just didn't know what was going to happen in the market, and yesterday proved that I was right. It was one of the wildest rides in Wall Street history, with stocks plunging nearly 2,000 points in just a few days, and now it looks like they're shooting straight back up again, as China is trying to boost its weakening economy by cutting interest rates once again.
Well, some investors are urging people not to overreact and to ride out the storm. And as Dale Hurd reports, that roller coaster ride isn't over yet.
Wall Street has been looking for a rebound, and European averages shot back up as the trading day began. But China's Shanghai Composite was down another 7.5%. And China today again cut interest rates for the 5th time just since November in its latest attempt to boost its slowing economy. That weakening Chinese economy is one of the key reasons why the U.S. market has fallen so sharply the last few days and led to such a wild ride, with the Dow down 1,000 points, then back up 1,000 during the day Monday. And traders say expect more of the same in the days ahead.
It's going to be a volatile week. It's going to be a lot up and down.
What the global stock markets are doing and have been doing for this past month is repricing a growth in China that is less than it had been.
The Dow is now down 11% from the start of the year, and the bloodbath on the Chinese stock exchange has some worried that a U.S. stock slide is overdue.
The market has gotten ahead of where the actual economy is.
The White House was trying to quell the panic Monday by preaching what it calls the long-term strength of the U.S. economy.
U.S. businesses over the last 65 consecutive months have added 13 million jobs. That's the longest sustained private sector job growth streak in American history.
Experts say that over the last week, the average American's 401k lost $9,000. But over 5 years, that same account is up about 60%. And many analysts say that even though more volatility is ahead, they expect that over the longer term, patient investors will still come out ahead. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, it's not just the price of stocks that have been falling. Oil has been dropping like a stone, and that could lead to good news at the gas pump. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington.
That's right, Pat. The price of oil has been plunging in recent months to its lowest level in 6.5 years. And AAA estimates the price of gas could also keep falling, going below $2 a gallon by Christmas, possibly even by Thanksgiving. Gas prices haven't fallen as fast as oil has due to some operational issues at several major oil refineries. But gas is already under $2 in some states, while the national average is around $2.58 a gallon, the lowest since 2004. Lower gas prices could give people extra money in their wallets, and that could be a boost for the economy. Pat, that sounds like good news for most drivers.
Well, it's good news for the drivers, but the truth is that the oil industry employs many thousands and thousands of people, and people are getting laid off by the thousands in these high-paying jobs. And places like North Dakota are going to be into a serious recession, as are other of the oil-producing states. So what may be good news for the motorist is going to be killing news for the oil industry. So it just depends on which side of the fence you're on. John?
Pat, a new undercover video exposing Planned Parenthood shows a discussion involving a serious problem at many abortion clinics: sanitation. The latest clip from the Center for Medical Progress comes after a Los Angeles Superior Court judge ruled the group does indeed have the right to release its material, despite legal action against them. As Gary Lane reports, that decision prompted the release of more damaging footage.
The video released by the Center for Medical Progress shows the CEO of STEM Express laughing about how her lab technicians were shocked when they received fully intact aborted babies from Planned Parenthood.
Tell the lab it's coming. So don't open the box. Oh, God.
STEM Express is the company that purchased aborted babies from Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood's Deborah Nicotola talked about the demand for fetal organs.
Yesterday was the first time she said people wanted lungs, and then she felt like I said always as many intact livers as possible.
Also in the new video, Planned Parenthood's Melissa Farrell talked about the business of providing intact baby cadavers for the harvesting of internal organs.
So if we alter our process and we are able to obtain intact fetal cadavers, it's all just a matter of line items.
And CMP suggests those line items apparently mean greater profit for Planned Parenthood.
We agreed that $100 would keep you happy.
I want a Lamborghini. I said I want a Lamborghini.
Don't we all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The buying and selling of human fetal tissue is a violation of federal law. While Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Joanne O'Donnell has now allowed the public release of the undercover videos, a STEM Express violation of privacy lawsuit against CMP will move forward. Gary Lane, CBN News.
And Pat, CMP says it has about a total of a dozen or so videos to release.
You know, if this isn't horrifying, these are human beings, ladies and gentlemen. They're not fetal tissue. They are intact babies. They are people. They are people that would be capable of growing up and being leaders in their community, maybe coming up with some new theorem in science or math. Who knows what potential was in those parts that these people are so cavalierly laughing about destroying. Ladies and gentlemen, Planned Parenthood is a monstrosity. And the time has come for the American people to say, we no longer will fund that thing. As a matter of fact, they should move against it and close it down and declare it illegal. What they're doing is a crime, and it's repeatedly a crime all over the country, because there are individual chapters of Planned Parenthood, and the organization is worth billions of dollars. It is incredibly rich, and yet you and I have got to take money out of our pocket and pay it. The government is insisting that our money go to pay for that. Do you want to have, you know, the Hyde Amendment used to stop this stuff, but oh no, Planned Parenthood is worse. Are we ever going to stop it? Well, I think if the American people will ever rise up and protest, maybe it will. John?
Pat, along those lines, there's a move in Congress to cut federal taxpayer dollars from Planned Parenthood, and it has also become a political issue among Republican candidates in the race for the White House. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is recruiting pastors to mobilize their congregations in the push to defund the organization. Cruz sent an email to 100,000 evangelical pastors, citing what he calls Planned Parenthood's barbaric practices of harvesting the body parts of innocent babies. Cruz wants pastors to preach against abortion this Sunday, and he's calling for a day of prayer and fasting September 9th. Well, on the Democratic side, it looks like Vice President Joe Biden may also be entering the race for the White House. CNN reports that a senior Democrat says Biden received President Obama's blessing to run. This comes after a secret meeting with Senator Elizabeth Warren over the weekend, and then Monday's private lunch with the president. The move would pit Mr. Obama's number 2 man against his former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who is still the Democratic frontrunner. Many analysts and some Republicans believe Clinton's campaign is vulnerable after her email scandal and national security issues, and that may be affecting Biden's decision.
I think he sees vulnerability in Secretary Clinton. She's got more than an email problem. This is a pretty much self-inflicted wound. When the trust numbers go this low, you're exposed as a politician. So I don't know what Joe's going to do, but if he's ever wanted to run, now's his best chance.
Clinton is now said to be cutting her recent vacation short to head back on the campaign trail later this week. The U.S. is getting some international help to fight the wildfires raging in several western states. 70 firefighters from Australia and New Zealand are now on American soil to fill a shortage of mid-level fire managers. That helps to bolster some 32,000 firefighters already in the field.
The surprise for all of us is the size and the scale of things, and just the amount of resource that's committed to these fires. All the resources in New Zealand wouldn't staff a very small fire here.
It's a big fire, it's a lot of area, we don't have a lot of resources with all the fires going on, so we're covering a lot of ground with pretty few folks.
This is one of the worst fire seasons on record. So far, more than 11,000 square miles have burned. Well, a new report shows another health risk from heavy smoking, and it can lead to potbellies. Scientists at the University of Glasgow found heavy smoking can lead to fat being concentrated in the central part of the body, and that leads to a bigger stomach and what's known as an apple-shaped body. Those body types are at a higher risk for several deadly diseases like diabetes and heart disease. So smokers could be more vulnerable to those diseases, as well as cancer from smoking itself. And Pat, that's bad news for several smokers who say they smoke to keep the weight off.
And once again, the federal government subsidizes tobacco. We're subsidizing the killing of people through cancer, lung cancer, emphysema, Berger's disease, and these other diseases that come from smoking. The time has come to ban it. I don't know how long it'll take, but I recommended that we have a tax holiday on tobacco companies for about 7 years, let them make all the money they could make, and then declare their activities illegal from then on. And that would be a humane way of putting them to death.